WWE has a whole new slew of champions. Chelsea Green is the Women's US Champion, CM Punk is the World Heavyweight Champion, and Stephanie Vaquer is the Women's World Champion. And all of this begs the question, who is going to dethrone each of them? Let's speculate. I'm Brandon, this is Wrestlin' Talk, and today we are going to predict who is going to dethrone every WWE champion. Sorry for not posting a new video in a while too, I was pretty sick. Muy enferma. But now I'm okay, intro done, let's get started. Who is going to dethrone AJ Lee? That is the tag team of AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. There really aren't a lot of tag teams on Raw apart from the New Day and the Judgment Day, and I don't see either one of those teams getting the titles back anytime soon, so by process of elimination, I'm going with The Vision. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee are baby faces, it makes sense for them to lose to heels, and honestly the Raw tag division needs a real kick in the ass, and I think putting those titles on the Vision not only will be that kick in the ass, but I think it was always the plan. Seth Rollins was going to be the World Heavyweight Champion, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed were going to be the tag champions. And given the fact that WWE did not make Braun Breaker the World Heavyweight Champion at Saturday night's main event, that says to me that WWE is sticking with the plan of putting the world title on Braun Breaker either at WrestleMania 42 or after. So because they're sticking to this plan, it makes sense that the Vision gets the tag titles and elevates the division. The only catch though is I don't think it needs to be Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, because according to reports, Austin Theory was supposed to be a member of the Vision attacking CM Punk at Saturday night's main event. That did not end up happening, which makes me think maybe Theory is not going to be a part of the Vision anytime soon. But if WWE wants to change their plans and put the world title on Braun Breaker before WrestleMania, you can still have the Vision winning the tag team titles. It would just be Bronson Reed and Austin Theory. I think it's safe to say that the Vision is going to take the tag titles from AJ Lee. I just don't know which specific members of the Vision are going to do that. Next up, who is going to dethrone the Wyatt Six? This one is so obvious to me, it's the MFTs. WWE is clearly setting up a faction versus faction feud between the MFTs and the Wyatt Six, and I think a big turning point in that feud is going to be when the MFTs take the tag titles from them. If I had to guess, I think it would be JC Mateo and Tala Tonga, although if Solo Sikoa really wants to secure a victory, I would just send Tonga Loa in there alone. One-man wrecking crew, he could probably take all of the members of the Wyatt Six on his own. Next up, who is going to dethrone Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss? This just shows how far the women's tag division has come, because I can see three viable contenders to dethrone Charlotte and Alexa. One is the team of Julia and Kiana James. Julia just lost the US Championship, so I feel like now her and Kiana James are gonna form an official tag team. Another option are the Kabuki Warriors. Asuka and Kairi have very clearly put the women's tag division on notice, and they're supposed to have a tag match against Charlotte and Alexa on this upcoming episode of Raw. So who knows, by the time this video is posted, the Kabuki Warriors could very well be the tag team champions. I don't see them winning though for two reasons. One reason is that the Kabuki Warriors already held the titles around the time of WrestleMania 40, which wasn't that long ago, so I really don't see what they stand to gain from another tag team title reign. But reason number two, and this is the big one, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky have been off of TV since Crown Jewel. Rhea Ripley unfortunately broke her nose, so she might not be able to compete, but as far as I'm aware, Io Sky is good to go, she just hasn't been on TV. And given where we left things with the Rio versus Kabuki Warriors feud, the thing that makes the most sense to me is Io Sky and or Rhea Ripley interfering in that tag match, preventing the Kabuki Warriors from winning, thus setting up the women's War Games match. And then afterwards, Io Sky can continue to feud with Asuka, and then Charlotte and Alexa can go back to SmackDown where they're going to lose to option number 3. And that is the new team of Nia Jax and Lash Legend. Unlike the Kabuki Warriors, I think Nia and Lash have a ton to gain from winning the women's tag titles. It would put over Lash Legend on the main roster, and it would give Nia Jax something interesting to do, because to be honest, she hasn't really done anything interesting since losing the world title. And then after that, you can do one of two things with Charlotte and Alexa. You could have them work from the ground up to get those titles back from Nia and Lash, similar to when Bianca and Jade got the titles back from Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, or you could have Alexa Bliss turn heel on Charlotte Flair, thus kicking off their singles feud. Either way, I think Nia and Lash are going to be the ones to dethrone Charlotte and Alexa. Next up, who is going to dethrone Ilya Dragunov? Currently, WWE is teasing Tommaso Ciampa. I don't think that's going to happen. And while I would love to see Carmelo Hayes get that title, I don't think he is going to be the one to dethrone Dragunov, because it would be babyface versus babyface, and I just don't see WWE doing that. So by that logic, you need a heel to beat Dragunov so then Carmelo Hayes can beat that heel. So who am I going with? Tama Tonga. WWE has already started teasing this match on an episode of SmackDown, and out of all of the members of the MFTs other than Tonga Loa, I think Tama Tonga is in the best position to win a mid-card championship. I think Tama Tonga accepts an open challenge from Ilya Dragunov, the MFTs interfere in the match, allowing Tama Tonga to cheat to win, and then after he's done with The Miz, Carmelo Hayes is the one to defeat Tama Tonga, finally getting his hands on the US Championship. Next up, who is going to dethrone Chelsea Green? Chelsea beat Julia for the Women's US Championship in like 90 seconds. I don't think they're going to put the title back on Julia after her really terrible and disappointing title reign, nor do I think they're going to put it on Michin or BFAB. So if you're not going to go with anyone that's currently on SmackDown, you gotta look to NXT. I'm going with Jordynne Grace. At some point, she needs to debut on the main roster. I feel like SmackDown is the perfect place for her, mainly because that show really needs something exciting to happen. It's very boring to watch. And I think Jordynne Grace defeating Chelsea Green and becoming a mid-card champion right out of the gate would be huge for her. And honestly, with Jordynne Grace as champion, I can finally see the Women's US title being defended at a PLE. I'm not sure if it's going to happen anytime soon, but I would suspect that it's going to happen at some point before WrestleMania. Next up, who is going to dethrone Dominic Mysterio? He has been the Intercontinental Champion since WrestleMania 41, and he has been awesome. But when it comes to who's going to dethrone him, to me, there are two options. One is John Cena. At Survivor Series War Games in San Diego, I think the match is 100% going to be Dominic Mysterio versus John Cena for the IC Championship. And honestly, I think Cena has a great chance of winning. If he does win the IC Championship, he will officially become a Grand Slam champion. And I think that is a box that WWE would definitely want to check off before John Cena retires. However, if he does win, he would either have to vacate it right away or lose it at Saturday night's main event against probably Gunther. And let's be honest, Gunther does not need to win the IC Championship again. So if WWE doesn't want to pull the trigger on that and instead wants Dom to hold the championship a bit longer, my pick is LA Knight. Unfortunately, I don't think LA Knight is going to be the one to dethrone CM Punk for the world title, nor do I honestly think he's going to get his hands on it anytime soon. So if that doesn't happen, the next best thing for him to do is to dethrone Dominic Mysterio and walk into WrestleMania 42 as the Intercontinental Champion. LA Knight versus a returning Chris Jericho? Sign me up. Next up, who is going to dethrone Becky Lynch? She has been the Intercontinental Champion ever since Money in the Bank, and honestly, I think her title reign has been fantastic. Currently, she's in a feud with Maxine Dupree, and while I think that would be awesome for Maxine to win, I don't think she's going to be the one to beat Becky Lynch. So if that doesn't happen, to me, there are two options. The most obvious one is AJ Lee. She has been off of TV since WrestlePalooza. I think she's going to return soon to be a part of War Games. She'll be on the babyface team, Becky Lynch will be on the heel team. Obviously, the babyface team is going to win. And after that happens, I think AJ Lee will have a claim for the IC Championship and she'll finally challenge Becky Lynch in a one-on-one match. And it makes sense for AJ Lee to beat Becky Lynch, and then maybe you get AJ Lee versus Roxanne Perez for the IC Championship at like WrestleMania. The only reason why I don't think this is going to happen is because AJ Lee already pinned Becky Lynch at WrestlePalooza, and I think she's probably going to pin her at Survivor Series too. So if they have a singles match at, let's say, Saturday night's main event and AJ Lee beats Becky Lynch, now she has pinned Becky Lynch 3 times, making her look very weak. I honestly think it's more likely that Becky Lynch beats AJ Lee in a singles match and then go on to hold the title until WrestleMania, where maybe she drops the title to Io Sky, who I don't think is going to get involved in the world title scene anytime soon because she lost it to Stephanie Vaquer. So if Io Sky needs something to do, why not put the Intercontinental Championship on her? She would be a true workhorse champion. Personally, that's what I want to happen, but in terms of what I actually think is going to happen, I think it's going to be AJ Lee. Whether she beats Becky Lynch in their first singles match or a rematch. Next up, who is going to dethrone Stephanie Vaquer? She has been the Women's World Champion since WrestlePalooza, where she defeated Io Sky to win the vacated title. Because of that, I don't think Io Sky is going to be the one to dethrone her. To me, there are three options. Option number one is obviously Rhea Ripley. She is always going to be in contention for a world title, and I feel like her current story is getting back to the title. I don't think she's going to be the one to dethrone Stephanie though, because they're both babyfaces, and I don't think either one is going to turn heel anytime soon. So while I think that is a big match, Rhea Ripley versus Stephanie Vaquer, I just don't see it happening during Stephanie Vaquer's first title reign. Option number two is Liv Morgan. At this point in time, I am certain that Liv Morgan is going to win the 2026 Women's Royal Rumble. And when she does, it makes all of the sense in the world that she challenges Stephanie Vaquer at WrestleMania, finally getting a big WrestleMania match. However, while I think Liv Morgan is going to win the Rumble and be in a world title match at WrestleMania, I don't think she's going to win it. Mainly because we just saw a huge Liv Morgan world title reign in 2024. And I don't think WWE is going to want to go back to that so soon. So while at this moment I think Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vaquer is going to be the WrestleMania match, I actually think Stephanie is going to win, which means she's going to lose it sometime after WrestleMania, to my number one choice, which is Asuka. I have been loving Asuka's heel turn, and I think she deserves a world title reign, not a tag title reign. It just makes all of the sense in the world. Asuka's a heel, Stephanie's a babyface, Asuka beats Stephanie, Io beats Asuka, and then finally, Rhea beats Io. That timeline of championships just makes so much sense. Next up, who is going to dethrone Jade Cargill? It's Bianca Belair. Obviously. I think Jade Cargill is going to hold the title between now and WrestleMania, pretty much dominating the entire SmackDown women's roster, and at some point Bianca Belair is finally going to return and either win her second Royal Rumble or her third Elimination Chamber and challenge Jade Cargill at WrestleMania 42, where not only do we get the dream match of Bianca versus Jade, but I think Bianca will beat Jade, winning her first world title in years. It just makes all of the sense. Next up, who is going to dethrone CM Punk? I don't think it's going to be LA Knight or Jey Uso, nor do I think it's going to be Roman Reigns. I don't even think it's going to be Seth Rollins, because whenever he returns, he's going to be a babyface. And it just wouldn't make sense for him to go after Punk when Braun Breaker is the one who put him on the shelf. To me, the only option is Braun Breaker. It's so predictable that I honestly wish WWE just put the title on Braun Breaker at Saturday night's main event. Not to mention CM Punk finally winning a world title at a Saturday night's main event just didn't feel like a big deal. The only question though is, does CM Punk hold this title all the way till WrestleMania? I feel like it makes more sense for Braun Breaker to defeat CM Punk at like the Royal Rumble or something, and then maybe you get Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns for the title at WrestleMania. Either way though, it's obviously going to be Braun, it just comes down to when. Next up, who is going to dethrone Cody Rhodes? He has been the WWE Undisputed Champion since defeating John Cena at SummerSlam, and as much as I wanted Drew McIntyre to be the one to beat Cody Rhodes, at this point, I think it's clear that's not going to happen. So if it's not Drew, the only answer, to me, is Randy Orton. He's been off of TV for a while, and I think it's pretty obvious that he's the one who attacked Jacob Fatu. So at some point soon, I think Randy Orton returns, turns heel on Cody Rhodes, finally, and I think he beats Cody Rhodes at, let's say, a Saturday night's main event, but I don't think he holds it until WrestleMania. Because let's be honest, WWE does not see Randy Orton as that guy anymore. Ever since returning in 2023, he has just been racking up loss after loss, being in the most forgettable storylines. When you look at how WWE books CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, they do not view Randy Orton in that light anymore. And honestly, they've waited so long to pull the trigger on this Cody versus Randy feud that I don't even care anymore. Cody versus Randy should have been the match at WrestleMania 41. So while I am excited for the Viper to come back and finally defeat Cody Rhodes, it all just feels a little, too late. Not to mention the fact that I don't think he would hold the title very long either. But that's it. Those are my predictions for who is going to dethrone every WWE champion. Let me know your picks down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.